Is my background
One,
quiet?
two, three, one. Welcome everybody to Mom and Dad Talks. Where our favorite two people are mom and dad. Well, they're not here right now, but we got a very special guest. You've seen her on the show before, Coach Brown. Yay! How you
Hey,
doing?
hey, hey.
And if you haven't seen her, she's been on television. She's been on some shows and stuff like that. But what I really like is she's on a thing called Church Life Chronicles, and she's also an acting coach. She does a lot of stuff. She also helps me write. She's a writer. You know what? You've done so much here. Um, but we brought you on because we had you interview before about your character in church life. However, you have a new thing coming out that's going to help actors and Christian actors, and I want my audience to know about it and how to get a hold of you. But before we get the hold of your point, tell us a little about why you did it, and let's go from there.
Okay. I just can't. I love watching television because when I'm looking at television, I'm always studying. And everything I turn to, only way I don't hear cursing, I can't even, they even got it in commercials now. So it's just hard to find anything without any curse words. Now, most of the Christian or faith-based content, you can get through most of it. You might hear one or two,
Oh wow, one or two, have mercy.
right? But most of them you can get through. But there's some movies that have a good concept, and I like, oh, I'm gonna like this, and then I can't get through it because I can't take all of the cursing.
Mm-hmm.
So I know there's a lot, I know a lot of people that want to write faith-based content, but they haven't taken screenwriting. So the Lord put it in my spirit to develop a Christian screenwriting course.
Oh,
It
okay.
comes with scriptures, it
Mm-hmm.
comes with a whole lot of stuff. Now it's not out yet. It will be, but I'm still working on it and getting it all together. But I can't wait until it is out there because I believe it's going to bless so many
Yes,
people, you
yes.
know? Because a lot of times if we don't understand, you can have an idea in your head and you see how you want it to go, but there is a formula
Mm-hmm.
that has been studied
Mm-hmm.
for decades that the industry knows it works. And it works because it's set up to keep the audience engaged.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's timed from your first minute to your 10th minute. So many things have to take place for
Mm-hmm.
somebody to continue to watch that. And if people don't know that,
Mm-hmm.
those are usually the movies that you turn from within those first 10 minutes.
Yes, and and speaking of that, because we talk quite a bit. I mean,
Hmm.
because there's even technique. Because, like I said, you helped me a whole lot with developing, and like I said,
Hmm.
sometimes I get a little hard headed. I want this shot, but and with the writing and stuff. But we're seeing like even the cinematography, like your standard shots. You
Hmm.
need more motion with the camera, but you can't overdo it. But you got to do it in such a way where it keeps your audience engaged and still tells the story at the same time.
Correct. That is so true, Ty. I mean, everything works together like baking a cake.
Hmm.
All the ingredients have to be in there in order for the cake to taste really good. Now, you may have some ingredients missing. The cake might still come out, but it's just sitting there. Nobody's eating it.
And I like how you said that. And it's a great transition to the next part because your
Mhm.
passion is acting
It
and
is.
coaching people in acting.
It
You
is.
coach a lot of people on church life, and let me tell you, folk, she's extraordinaire. I've been able from her coaching, folk, to be able to recommend them to go on other films, and they're like,
Mhm.
Todd, they come to me, hey, do you have anybody else? Todd, do you have somebody? Yeah. And I can vouch for because if you take Coach Brown's training, I can guarantee it, folk, it's gonna make you better. I hear it from the directors and film because she teaches you a lot of things and folk. And
Mhm.
like I said, she's a Christian. You have to worry about the curse words or anything like that, or and she'll tell you about the truth about and the thing about this how she's flexible, folk. Even if you're non-Christian, she'll work with
Oh,
you. I mean,
most
that's what it's all
definitely.
about. It's a ministry, folk. It's for all people. And let me tell you, I've seen it firsthand. We had a dude in one of our films. I mean, he was just a extra, literally an extra, and went from an extra to a leading role. But
Mhm.
tell everybody about your acting course and a little bit about it so they can understand why they
Mhm.
need it. Because people think whatever, and listen, because we talk about this all the time. Let me let you take it over.
Well, let's say I have two courses. The first one I suggest for people is character development. Because a lot of times, if somebody wants to act and they've never been trained, you just go in it. Because I was there before I took acting classes, before I went to school for it. I just assumed, I'm just going to learn my lines and go on and do my thing. And I mean, that's a small portion of it, but you have to know who that character is. You got to develop the character beyond the script.
Yeah.
That's what a good actor can do. Um, and then the next course that I teach is on script analysis.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that's teaching the student how to analyze script. So there's like about 9 steps that they go through before they even begin to memorize their lines. And these actors are not surface actors. Once you learn these methods, you're not just a surface actor.
Yes.
You're an actor with some depth because you know how to bring the depth of the character out.
And folk, let me tell you, I always try to take as many acting classes as I can myself, just because
Mhm.
the stuff you forget, stuff you haven't like, oh man, I forgot about that. Oh yeah, because you lose your edge, right?
Mhm.
And like I said, I took my acting classes from you and from Marlon Hargrave. Marlon,
Yeah.
shout out to my boy over there. I know
Hey,
you probably watch
Marlon.
it. Yeah. And the thing about it is that there's things in the script and there's things in your character. You got to know both, and they're not one and the same, folks. And people think they can just be a version of themselves, and you become a one-trick pony. Like, okay, I've seen you be this person, and you're really
Mhm.
not acting. You're just being yourself, mad, sad, or whatever, and you think
Mhm.
that's going to pass. And folk, it doesn't, because they need you to be somebody else. And if you can't do it, you're going to probably see your days limited, and then wonder why you're not getting picked.
Yeah, that's true. And I teach something that most coaches don't teach, but I teach the countenance because
Hmm.
countenance is so important in film. So if a student can learn what their countenance is for each scene, it keeps the continuity of their character going,
Yes.
as opposed to when an actor just when an actor cannot analyze a script or hasn't taken the time to develop the character to find out who that character is, they're really doing that character a disservice because what they're doing, only thing they can do at this point is give that character their thoughts about how they feel about it. And if it's not aligned with that character, it just doesn't work.
And like I said, I've seen your work with some people that you worked with. I mean, they started out like ooh, and then they were like, oh my, you can just see the improvement in them. And
Mhm.
and for me, I just thought it was really interesting, just seeing that growth. And like I said, and with the other people we work with, there's a growth because, like I said, folk, um, when you're doing this, I want you to be successful. If this is what you want to do, if this
That's
is what God calls you to do. The Bible says, "Study to show thyself approved unto God."
mhm.
I'm
Mhm.
helping my folk out there. If you need her, there
Mhm.
she is, folk. And like I said, I remember I was on a set with one of the guys that worked on The Wire, and he wanted to be my agent just because he saw how I just did the work. Like, oh, dude, I
Uh-huh.
can take you to
Uh-huh.
Hollywood. And I'm just like, well,
Mhm.
I wasn't trying to go to Hollywood or anything like that. I'm like, okay, I do this for the fun of it, right?
Right, right,
And
right.
but that training, you could tell the difference, folk, on set. Trust me.
Mhm.
It's kind of like a Christian going to the club. Everybody know you ain't supposed to be there because they're like, "What are you doing here?" And you
Yeah.
sitting up there doing the most. They do the same thing on the
Yes.
set when they realize, okay, you know what, you didn't have enough training there because can you be somebody different and do you understand what the script is in the fight? Now, if you don't understand those basic things right there, folk, you probably need to take a course.
Yeah, I mean, suppose somebody lands a role of, let's say, you've experienced this. Let's say somebody lands a role as a preacher, but they've never been a preacher. Only thing they can do is mimic what they think a preacher does, right? So, same thing with the serial killer. I don't know any personally. How do you be a how do you play a serial killer?
Hmm.
If you've never experienced it, you don't know anybody, hopefully that's one.
Hmm.
How do you play a serial killer? So you have to go and you got to study
Yeah.
this because killing is not the reason that a serial killer is a serial killer.
Right.
I teach people to go into the soul of the character
Hmm.
because they're playing a character that has a mind, a will, and
Hmm.
emotions, right?
But you know what, and what I really like of what you teach there, Coach Brown, you
Hmm.
don't take it home with you.
Hmm.
You teach a certain type of methodology that you teach
Hmm.
where, hey, at the end of the day, it's just the act, right? You,
Hmm.
you don't bring it home because some people want to be in character the whole entire time, and that can be dangerous for them. Can you tell the audience a little bit, you know, th-
The
because
method.
if you play a cancer patient and you take that with you, a lot of people
Mhm.
develop. That's what people don't understand.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The method that I learned and that I teach and that I love is the Stanislavski method,
Mhm.
and it's based on tactics, which are verbs. So the students learn to play the verbs as opposed to going into their own emotions to pull out something. It's better to act the and see, that's the other thing that students don't know. You're not just acting the lines, you're acting the objective.
Ooh, yes,
That's your whole purpose. And each scene
yes.
of a movie, they got a super objective, an overall
Hmm.
objective that they've got to reach by the end. But each scene, the scene objective, they have to figure out what is my scene objective that's leading me to my super objective.
And it's this thing called overacting. You're
Hmm.
trying to jump your line or you don't fit the storyline, and you can it shows itself in film a whole lot easier than you do on stage. Because stage you can be verbose and blah blah blah, but
Hmm.
in film basically in essence you don't want to do the most. You want to be in character and make the scene work.
And we
But you
go
got to
into
still
that
be in
in,
character for who you are, and that what would that person do sitting down if he's not saying a word? You know,
right.
and there's a lot of things that you teach that I think would be so helpful.
Hmm.
I know we're running up to the minute now, but
Uh-huh. The sea goes so fast.
I know it goes really fast. But like I said, there's a lot more to talk about. We're gonna bring you back on there for people to watch and
Hmm.
understand, and subscribe. But how do people get in touch with you if they want acting lessons or go coaching?
Well, right now, if they want coaching, they can email me at coachsharonbrown@gmail.com. And I am so excited because I'm working on my site that's going to include all of my courses. And the courses are going to have some really good extras in them, especially for screenwriters and actors, really. I don't want to tell it all. I'm just going to wait till it's done. But if they're interested in wanting to take character development or script analysis, they can once again reach me at Coach Sharon Brown at gmail.com. Make sure you spell coach Coach and not couch because a lot of people don't reach me because they're spelling
Yeah,
couch.
and you may get a different person on that one, but not Sharon Brown, but you may get a different person. Okay.
That's true. Couch
But
Sharon.
yeah, man, yeah, couch Sharon. Well, speaking of that, folks, Sharon, I just want to thank you so much. And folk, like I said, for those of you that want to witness, she can help you be a Christian in this industry, how to navigate and stuff. There's a lot of things she can bring to the table and make you a better person. And especially non-Christian or Christian makes you feel comfortable. And she's so nice about it, folks. She's not a mean coach, but she knows how to get it out of you. And I've seen her work people and get it out of them. So please, folks,
Oh,
yes.
don't forget to tell them how they're connected to the series through taking the courses.
Oh, yes. So, folks, listen very carefully.
Well, that's a something extra
It's
if they
something.
can, pass the courses
Yeah,
correctly.
yeah, yeah. If you can pass the courses, basically, in essence, it's almost a shoe in because we want people that are trained, and you'll get a role based upon how you actually pass the course and stuff. So
Mhm.
we do that specifically to encourage the people. Plus, too, like I said, Sharon is just a wonderful person, and it helps us our sets out a whole lot because with Church Life Chronicles, we have different people and we have different roles. So we're always looking for people. And like I
Mhm.
said, if it's easy to go to a farm system when someone's trained versus, and I've had people, I won't say, but I had people that said they got training and it's like, okay, I need you to do this. And it's like, no, they can't stretch themselves. And you got to get into character. You got to make yourself believable. But yeah, that's
Yeah,
something that
because
they do provide. Go
sometimes
ahead.
actors they'll take a training class, but it has nothing to do with foundation, and they're just basically still lost.
Hmm.
I mean, a student needs to get the foundation of acting, which is character development,
Hmm.
and then move into, script analysis. Then you can start moving into improv and, doing other things. But you got to get, if that foundation isn't there, what are you
Hmm.
building on?
Yeah. Yeah. And like I said, folks, she's very, very good. And she does excellent. And she, she'll try to bring it out. You think, she works with where you're at, but she tries to take you where you're going. And folks, if you have a chance to do it, just try it out. Okay,
Mhm.
just try it out. Trust me, right? You've been watching Mom and Dad Talks. Go ahead and try it out. You know you've been wanting to do this, and even if you just want to just have the experience, I think it's a great experience too. And she has so folk and a reasonable cost. All right. So,
Mm.
folk, anything else, Sharon? I forget before we get off.
No, I think we've covered it all. Well, not we haven't covered it all,
No,
but
no, we
we've
haven't covered
covered
all,
what
but
we
I think we
can.
covered enough for this time. I just want to make sure we covered everything we're
Right,
going to talk about this
right,
time.
right.
So, folk, as we leave here, we want everybody to be well versed in what they're doing and doing for the Lord, and you got to invest in yourself, folk. You go out the cheap way, you can learn by yourself, whatever, but it's going to be an expensive lesson and a hurtful lesson. So this will help you, gird you up so that you can make it faster to the big time, and you know what you're doing. And like I
Mhm.
said, it won't kill your budget, but I tell you this, it's worth the money. And study to show thyself approved unto God, because it's always about God in the end. So,
That's right.
so next time we'll see you on Mom and Dad Talks. Thank you, Sharon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.